A long time ago in the golden city of Hidera, there lived a man named Chief Aladd, a man whose name was whispered with admiration and envy in equal measure. His wealth stretched beyond what words could describe. He had lands, houses, and fleets of cars. But what he desired most? A son to inherit his empire. Hmm. He never had it. Instead, he had one daughter, Abebi, a child with eyes like morning dew and a spirit fierce as fire. To Chief Alade, she was more precious than 1,000 sons. He raised her with love and gave her the best of everything. But when death came, for Chief Alade, everything changed. Before the soul could even cover his grave, the vultures gathered, his brothers, his uncles, his kinsmen. They came with bitterness hidden behind tears, whispering among themselves that a woman cannot inherit the seat of a man. Within days, Abebi and her mother were thrown out of the mansion, their clothes torn into the red dust of Idera. Even her mother's small business, the one Chief Aladi had helped her start, was taken over by the same relatives. They claimed it was family's property. Her mother, Mariah, tried to fight back, but every man who could help them mysteriously turned away. Some died suddenly, others fell ill and withdrew in fear. It was as if the family's shadow carried a curse. And so, mother and daughter found themselves alone. Mariah's strength soon began to fade. Her heart broke not just from hunger and sickness, but from betrayal. Night after night, Ababi sat beside her, praying, open, crying. But one dawn, as the first rooster crowed, Mariah took her daughter's hand and whispered her last words. My child, never let the world turn your pain into hatred. Rise, Ababi, rise even from the dust. And then she was gone. Ababi buried her mother under the shade of a mango tree and wept until there were no tears left. Then she stood, wiped her face, and made a vow to the wind. I will rise. I will build my name with my own hands. And one day, they will know what they threw away. And then the journey begins. With nothing but a small nylon bag and her mother's old wrapper, Abebi left Idera and traveled to the city of Portacot, a place of noise, smoke, and endless movement. Life there was unkind. She did odd jobs, washing clothes, serving in small restaurants, selling sachet water under the burning sun. But one day she met a girl named Alero, a city girl with smooth skin and fast words. Alero offered her friendship and a place to stay. For the first time, Ababi felt safe again. But safety in the city has a price. Alera introduced her to a world of bright lights and easy money, a world that lived at night. Ababi, she said one evening, no one cares what you make it here. No one cares how you make it here. What matters is that you make it. Ababi looked at the woman in red dresses, standing under streetlights, like laughter echoing against the noise of passing cars. She shook her head. No, she said softly, if I rise, I will rise clean I will not build my pride in shame. Halero laughed. Then you will die poor. That night, after refusing to follow her to a nightclub, Alera threw her out into the rain, a small bag in her hands. Soaked, shivering, and alone, Alera sat by the roadside. The city light blurred with her tears. She whispered to herself, I will not give up. I will rise. She found a small shop with a wooden shades and slept there till dawn. At sunrise, the shop owner, Mama Tenny, a kind-hearted old woman, found Abebi coiled up by her door. Child, who are you? She asked. Ababi told her story, her voice trembling. Mama Tenny listened silently, then said, You have suffered. Come inside, come. You will work for me. At least you will eat. And so Ababi began her new life as a shop attendant. She worked early, swept, cleaned, and served customers, and kept records carefully. People loved her for her honesty, her humility, and her smile that carried both pain and hope. And days turned into weeks, weeks into months. One sunny afternoon, a young man entered the shop, tall, well dressed, with an accent that hinted at years abroad. His name was Tosin. He had just returned from the UK. He started a business and buy gifts for a friend's 45th birthday. He asked Abebi for help choosing gifts. She served him politely, her voice calm and clear. When she smiled, something shifted in him. He came back the next day and the next. Soon everybody in the area began to notice. Mama Tenny, smiling knowingly, said, If this man keeps buying birthday gifts every week, he must have many friends, or one special one. They laughed. But for Tosin, it was no longer about gifts. He was drawn to her resilience, her quiet strength. And one evening he said, Abebi, tell me your story. When she did, his eyes glistened. You've carried so much pain, he whispered. But I see fire in you, the kind that can light the world. Their friendship grew into love, not the kind built on pity, but on admiration. With Tosin's encouragement, Abebi enrolled in a small business programs. She learned tailoring, bookkeeping, and entrepreneurship. Within 2 years, she opened her own fashion store, and she named it Mariah's Touch. Her designs became popular, and so she began training other young women, girls who, like her, has been thrown away by life. Abebi didn't just rebuild her life. She built a family of women rising from dust, one stitch at a time. Years later, Abebi returned to Idera. She arrived in a black SUV, dressed simply but elegantly. Her brand had grown nationwide, and her name had become a symbol of grace and determination. Her uncle, the same man who once threw her out, was now sick and frail. When he saw her step out of the car, he grasped. Abebi? She smiled. Yes, uncle. The girl who was not enough has come back. He wept. He fell on his knees and begged for forgiveness. Ababi took his hand and lifted him up. I forgave you long ago, she said gently. A thread is too heavy to carry. I chose peace instead. But Faith was not done with his surprises. That same week, an old lawyer came forward with a brown envelope. It was Chief Aladd's real will, hidden away all those years. In it, he has written, "Everything I own belongs to my daughter, Abebi Alade, for she's not only my blood, but the fire of my spirit." The truth silenced the family. The house, the lands, and the legacy, all rightfully ours. But Ababi didn't gloat. She restored part of the wealth to her community. She built a home for widows and orphans and named it Murayo's Place. Years later, when the sun set over Idera, villagers often saw her sitting quietly under the mango tree where she buried her mother. Children playing around, laughter echoing in the wind. Someone once asked her, "Abebi, do you ever think about what they did to you?" She smiled, her eyes glittering like dew. "I do," she said softly. "But if they hadn't thrown me into the dust, I might never have learned how to rise." And as the evening breeze danced through the leaves, it seems the word itself whispered her name. Abebi, the girl who rose from dust. And that is the story of Abebi, the girl whose pain became her power and whose dust became her destiny. And so, Abebi rose from the dust. I want this to be a reminder that true beauty is not in riches or in birth, but in the heart that endures and shines through every trial. And that is the end of today's story. See you again next time. Bye for now.